What's up and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today we're talking about Flightplan, which is a 2005 thriller starring Jodie Foster as a distraught mother on a plane who discovers after waking up that her daughter has gone missing. Alerting the crew about it, they find that there is no record of her daughter on the airplane's manifest, and that quite possibly Jodie Foster's character is a little bit crazy and imagined ever bringing the little girl on board. I'm pretty sure I only ever saw this movie once, the year that it came out, but I also remember enjoying it quite a bit because it went off the somewhat popular theme of somebody goes missing and the only person that knows anything about it is perceived as crazy thing. The last time that I reviewed something like that was with Netflix's movie Fractured with Sam Worthington, that was fun too. But is Flightplan as good as I remembered it being? I'm not claiming to be a maven or anything, so let's get cracking. This review is brought to you by the word of the day, maven, an expert or connoisseur. Biggest thing about this movie is that for me it stands out, right up there with The Forgotten with Julianne Moore, which I need to go back and rewatch too, because that was basically the same thing. It had a similar theme. But this is the most grounded of the two movies, and as such is the most relatable, especially if you have kids, and if you ever wondered where the heck they wandered off to. The thought of losing your kid is only the first thing that scares you. The more that you think about it, on where they could be and what could be happening to them, the wilder your mind becomes. And I think Jodie Foster plays that kind of role pretty well. She's usually a pretty good actress when it comes down to acting crazy. Beyond that, I like this film for the production design. The airplane in the film itself is pretty much a character. You quickly get accustomed to how the plane is laid out. You know how the baggage claim works. You know how the cockpit operates, how the bathroom's roof leads to that extra attic-like space in the plane. This is also the only movie that I can think of that focuses so much on the avionics section of the plane, the nose. You know this plane inside and out, and the only other time that I can think of where that was true was with Air Force One, which I just reviewed recently. So that's really good for the production design, and it was somewhat subtle, but I also like the camera work and editing, both of which really contributed to the overall feeling of mystery and confusion. To me, it stood out, if only a little. The introduction for this film is purposefully vague. What I like in an introduction is to get you acquainted with the main players of the film and the general atmosphere of what's going on. And because it was purposefully vague, it had that mysterious feeling before Jodie Foster ever got on the plane, which to me is perfect. So honestly, you only know so much, which is the perfect way to prepare you to know even less later on. It definitely has a decent pace, as things definitely escalate in this film. Even though everything takes place in this one plane, there's plenty of obstacles to hurdle through, so there's never a lack of imagination here or a dull moment. And I think as a whole, it's a very thrilling film. The biggest downfall, though, would have to be in my people category, which looks at the acting, characters, casting, individual importance of the characters, and their chemistry together. Nothing here was perfect or terrible, which leads me to think that this entire category was made up of safe decisions. You will not remember who these characters are, who played them, other than Jodie Foster. You won't remember so much about how every person contributes to the plot. You'll only really remember the concept. That's it. That to me is a bit problematic because characters are important. Are they bad? Again, no, they're just monotonous, and I had a hard time caring about anybody. I cared about the story, about the mystery. I wanted to know more. I wanted to know what was going to happen, but I was not worried about the people. I wasn't even worried about the little girl that went missing, or Jodie, who's doing a great job acting crazy. I don't really feel for her. I'm just curious on where the story will go. That's it. Which is why I also say that this film isn't very deep or meaningful. It's just interesting. So even though I do enjoy the movie quite a bit, it's certainly imperfect. That's why when we look at my final score, we see that from a technical vantage point, it's not terrible. But it could have easily been done better. Like I said, I like the visuals when it came down to production design. I like the cinematography, the editing, and the overall atmosphere of the film. But because the people category is just so utterly safe, my unbiased score is 74%. But because I had a great time with the film, my bias score is a lot higher at 90%, averaging out the two scores to a final score of 82%. 82 out of 100 possible stars, granting Flightplan with a letter grade of B-, which is not too bad. Someday I'll get around to rewatching The Forgotten, and we'll see where that takes us. Until then, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this film in the comments down below. What do you remember about it? As for YouTube, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button and bell to be notified whenever I come out with my next review, which should be tomorrow, and that should be 2006 Hostel, which I've never seen before. We'll see if it's any good. And until then, I guess, peace out!